Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Davina, and I'm with Glam Marketing and Consulting. And I have put together just a small video of how you can find out who your target audience is. Your target audience is very important when creating a brand or business, or even keep going with your brand or business. If you're lacking sales, this can possibly be why, because you don't know who your target audience is, and you don't know what exactly it is that they need. So with this video, I will be showing you guys how to figure out who your target audience is, so we can increase the sales, we can figure out what their issues are, and we can figure out what we can do to solve their issues. I had the same issue when I first started. I didn't know what products I needed to provide, and I didn't know what services, what solutions basically that I can provide for my audience. And I have actually done a lot of research to figure out what that is and how to figure out what that is. And since then, everything has been picking up really good. And so I would just like to share my knowledge with you guys to help you guys figure out who your audience is. So when it comes to figuring out who your audience is, you have to build an audience profile. So this is the typical person that's following you, that is that would be interested in your brand. So me personally, I have figured out that my average audience is a female, ranging from ages 25 to about 40. They are located more so on the East Coast, not really the West Coast, which is kind of weird because I'm on the West Coast, but hey, to each his own. But a lot of them are located in like New York and Philadelphia and stuff like that. So, and they are entrepreneurs or they are business owners. A lot of them still do work regular jobs, so they are still, not really on that budget side of being able to really invest a lot of money into themselves, but they can spend, I usually say, about $5 to $150 on a product. So they are willing to invest in themselves. That's my basic profile, and during this video you're going to learn how to create your own profile, so your own audience profile. These are people that tune into your business or will tune into your business because your business will offer them certain things that can help with their business and figuring out where they need to go and how they need to get there. So stay tuned. Okay, so if you got my email, you would have gotten a worksheet attached to it. In the worksheet, it basically will have you figure out it will have you fill out all of the things that we need to determine to figure out who your profile, audience profile is. So first, we're going to figure out what's the age frame of the people that follow your brand, or you want to follow your brand. These are people that certain age groups look for certain different things, so just make sure that you are figuring out who your age group veers towards. Mine is pretty wide. I would say the average person is from 25 years old up to 40 years old, so I just make sure that the things that I provide are in detail enough for that age group. So on the worksheet, figure out who your age group is. If you don't know who it is, think about who you want it to be. If you want to figure out who it is, you can, what I usually use is my insights on Instagram. It's like the three little bars that are in the right hand corner at the top. You can click on that and it'll show you like your insights as far as the people's age, the people's location, and what times of the day and what days of the week are more busy than others. So you can go on there to determine what's the age group of the people that are actually tuning into your brand, and you can use that. That's how I figured out that the average person that tunes into mine is from 25 to 40 years old. So if you have a moment, go there and figure and find out who the age group is, and then tune back in. Okay, so now that we figured out what the age group is, let's figure out what the gender is. So some people might have a business that can go versatile, it can go both ways. It can go for the men and it can go for the women. If you do, great, that's wonderful. I should have thought about that more when I was creating my brand, but with me personally, I created a brand that's kind of girly, and a lot of guys don't like that. So all of my following has been women. I would say 98% 98% of my following has been women. So with that being said, I make sure that everything that I post, when it comes to content, when it comes to my website, just when it comes to everything that I do branding wise, I do make sure that it is for women, as far as it's girly, it's pink, it's cute, fancy writing, things like that. So um, figure out who you want your audience to be as far as gender wise, or figure out who it is currently. That will help when you make certain templates and certain posts and things like that, because it will make you because you'll make more things that veer towards that specific gender. If you have something that's versatile for men and women, I do think that you should not use as many girly colors when creating your brand, and not so many fancy writings, because it does veer guys away. Guys aren't into that. They would like to see, throw some blues in there, throw some oranges, throw some guy stuff up in there, even some reds. You can be versatile with red too, but figure out who your audience is as far as gender wise, so you can make sure that you're providing content that will be eye catching for that gender. Okay, so now that you figured out who the gender is, let's figure out what locations are more common for your followers. This will help you know what time you need to post, what time you need to send out emails, what time you need to be engaging in your profile, in your social media pages, because you don't want to be on the West Coast uploading stuff at 11 p.m. at night, and your East Coast people are already asleep because it's 1 a.m. their time. So make sure that you figure out where your audience is located. I do that also by my insights. As far as when I do my ads, I look at the insights on Instagram and on Facebook, and that will let me know what part of the United States or even the world most of my people are tuning in from, so I know what time to post, because the better time that you post, the better engagements and following you will receive and interaction. So since I said earlier in the video that most of my people are on the East Coast, I have to keep in mind that they are 3 hours ahead of us. So if I do want to do my morning postings, I have to make sure it's still their morning. It's still a time that they're in tune with their social media pages. If I do my afternoon postings, I have to make sure that it's not too late to where they won't be engaging because they just got home off work and they're cooking dinner, so they won't be on their Instagram and their Facebook and stuff like that. So go to your insights, if you have made any ads, go to your ads and see where people are located that do tune into your page. If you haven't started that part yet, then just think about where you want these people to be located. Make sure that you're posting around those times and you're providing content around those times to where it can help with the exposure of your social media pages. Okay, so now that we figured out where these people are located, let's figure out what's their price range. If you were this person in this area doing this, what you think that your average person is doing, what is something that would not break their bank, but it will also it can also help their business, so they'll want to invest in it. I have realized that a lot of my followers, they have I want to say kind of like a broad range. I did some free stuff, and I also did some stuff that was only $5, and that was a great turnout. I did a couple things that were $120. That was a great turnout. So I have figured out that the average person that's following my brand would like to spend from $5 to up to $120 for their for purchasing something that can potentially help their business. So I make sure that when I provide content or when I provide training and stuff like that, that it does go into their budget to where it's not breaking their bank, and it's something that they would want to invest in. I've always been a person that I want to help people, like I don't want people to have to decide like, dang, I really want to get this, but it's too expensive, but it could be really helpful. I don't want it to be that way. I want it to always be affordable. So if I have a product and I can provide it at a cheaper rate so I can get more people involved, so I can get more engagements, that's pretty much what I want to do. I don't want to charge up the yin yang because of the fact that a lot of people will have to determine like, Do I want to pay for that, or am I going to pay for rent? Of course, they're going to choose rent. So you're going to get less people that's going to be engaged in it. So that's why I decide that I'm going to stick between these amounts, because you'll get more engagements. You'll get more people that will be able to afford your products. I have talked to a lot of people that have purchased my websites and things like that, and guess what, they have actually been surprised about how cheap I was. And I let them know it has to do with me, with where I came from, because I came from a place where it was really it was expensive to start my own business. When I would contact people on how to on hiring them to do my websites and stuff like that, they were trying to charge me $500. Me being a single mom working and still trying to start my business on the side, I didn't have $500 to give to these people. So that's when I decided that, okay, you know what, I'm going to learn how to do this myself. And then I'm going to help out these other people who want to start businesses but are being charged too much to start their website and things like that. So that's why I was doing websites for $120, and I did quite a few for that amount. And that's why. So just make sure that when you're providing your services, you're providing it in a price range that your people can actually afford. You want them to purchase it. You don't want them to have to determine if this is important enough for them to purchase it. You want them to be like, well, shoot, that's cheap. I'm about to do it, because worst case scenario, I'm only losing out on $20, So just make sure that you find out what your target audience would prefer to purchase, what they would prefer to spend. Okay, so now that we have figured out how much our audience would like to spend, let's figure out what interests them. So I've noticed that my audience, they like the type of they like the way that I design my templates. They like the way that my website looks. They like the products that I've been providing. So I have figured out that they like things that can help increase their social media, help organize their lives. They like things that can help make their stuff look pretty. So I have figured out that that's what my audience likes. So let's figure out what your audience like. What have you realized, or what would you want your audience to like? Let's figure that out by, asking them questions, engaging in them, going in your Instagram profile. So people might think this is kind of stalkerish, but I actually use this part. I go on the Instagram where you get your notifications. If you slide to the right, and you can see what your people that you're following, what type of stuff they click on when they like, you can figure it out from there. Like you can see Jane Doe has been liking all these quotes about being a better entrepreneur and stuff like that. So you can figure out what type of things interest your audience by just doing simple stuff like that, engaging in them and seeing what type of stuff they have interest in from what you see just on social media. That's what I've done as far as trying to figure out what they like and what they like to see. I do go on there and I do see what type of stuff they like, and I do click and do stalker stuff like that. But guess what? That has helped me provide tools and provide content and provide quotes and stuff that I know that they'll end up liking and they'll engage in. So this will help, and you should do the same thing. About to figure out what it is your audience has an issue with. So this is how we determine what tools we provide to make sure that we're helping them out, so we can get more audience engaging, and we can get our current audience that's engaging to actually like the stuff that we're doing. So what issues are your audience having? Mine, I have a social media marketing. Mine is mainly social media marketing. A lot of my audience has issues with keeping track of their goals. They have an issue with keeping track of, their engagements, their following. They don't know what time of the day to post, things like that. So that's why I create tools and content that can help them get there. And then it became a time where my audience was having issues with staying motivated. So that's when I did a challenge for us to stay positive. So we definitely need to figure out what type of issues our audience is having so we can provide solutions for the issues. My social media tracker. This is a big thing. Like, I got a lot of people that downloaded this because of the fact that a lot of people need to organize their social media life. They need to figure out where they started in the month, what goals they have, and then where they ended in the month. They need to know when they need to post, what time they need to post. And what they need to post. So that's why my social media tracker was a big hit, because I had so many people that didn't know where to start with this. And I'm still getting downloads till this day of people downloading my social media tracker. You have to figure out what type of issues your audience has so you can provide tools, and so you can provide things that your audience can actually use. So that's a huge thing. Just like when I started my business startup checklist, a lot of my audience didn't know where to start, how to start their business. Shoot, a lot of my friends too. My sister even used it. But these are people that they just need to know, this is how you do things, and this will help you do the things that you need to get done. My business checklist, I even used it. I started a event planning business, and I used that business checklist to get through everything that I needed to get through to start that business. So just figure out what issues your audience has so you can provide things that can help with their issues and can help make their transition of starting a business or continuing their. Why should they download your products? Why should they use your products? Why should they come and engage into your page? What do you provide that can help their brand and can help their business? So this is where we've figured out who your target audience profile is. We figured out who they are, where they're from, what they want, and the things that interest them and how much they want to spend. So now we're going to figure out what products you can provide to help them get to the point that where they need to get, so you can have more people that are engaging and you can be providing things that can help your actual audience. So with that being said, what product do you have that can help them? Me, I have the social media worksheet. This is a worksheet that will help you figure out how many times a day you need to post, what you need to post, and who you're posting to. So this has been helping quite a few people with knowing how to work their social media accounts, how to work their Instagram page and things like that. So that's a product that I provide to where it provides a solution for the issue that they are having. They want to get more followers, download my social media worksheet. It will give you a breakdown of how you need to do what you need to do to make sure that you get more followers. So why should they download that? Because it helps the issue that they have. They need more followers. This product will help them get more followers as long as they stick to the plan. So you got to do the same thing. You have to make sure that you're providing something that they can use for the issue that they're having. Say they want to be a cook and they don't know how to use the right measurements and stuff like that. Well, your solution is you can provide some type of to-do list or some type of checklist or some type of instruction that shows these measurements equal this measurement, and you should use this for this recipe. So it's certain things that you can provide that can help their brand and their business. So just make sure that when you are providing these type of things, that when you are providing your tools, that it is something that they can use. So now that we figured out how your product helps your audience, let's figure out how they get your product. So my products come from either my website or my social media pages. If you provide products and you do like networking events and you provide them that way, then that will be yours. But there are different ways that you should provide your products, but your audience should know exactly where they can go to get your product. My audiences, they know that they can just go to my email. They can just go to my website, and on my website, I will have all the products that I provide. So that is my general place of where they can get all of my products. So all of my audience, they know that they can just go to my website. They can go to my social media page to figure out what content I have, what products I have, and then they could just go to my website to purchase the actual products or to download the freebies. I always have a lot of freebies. That is another way that you can build your audience. Offer freebies, do giveaways, do things. People love free stuff. I love free stuff. If I see somebody giving away a lipstick and all I gotta do is give them my email, guess what? I'm about to give me a free lipstick. So just make sure that you're providing things that your audience can actually use and that your audience would like to engage in. Okay, so now that we figured out where your audience needs to go to get your stuff, let's get down to the trust. Your audience doesn't know you from a can of paint. You're just somebody that they just started following, and they like the stuff that you started providing on social media, and they like the way that it looks, so they started following you. Your audience will only go so far before knowing, does their stuff actually work? So this is something that you have to provide proof. You have to use your own products. You have to show your audience, hey, this does work. So this is gaining the trust of your audience for them to even be able to refer you to other people. Like, hey, her social media tracker really helped me get organized. It really helped me out. It can let me keep track of my goals and things like that. So your audience wants to see proof so they can trust that what you're saying is accurate. So that's why when I was posting my social media tracker, I was posting how it worked, how I was using it every day. And I was showing people like, hey, this isn't something that I'm just designing to give you guys to help you guys out. This is something that I needed myself. That's the reason why I pretty much created it, is so I can get more organized with my social media and figuring out, certain things that I need to figure out with social media. So make sure that you're doing the same thing. You definitely want to show your audience proof that this is working. If you have someone download your tracker, and if you have somebody download your content or whatever you provided, and they left feedback, they sent you a text message, an email, or whatever the case may be, and say, hey, this really does work, this really has helped me, keep track of that. You're going to need that, because people want to see stuff like that. People want to see that other people are using it and they're utilizing it, and they're saying that this helps, and they're saying that this is something that they can use as well. So make sure that you are keeping track of who's using your stuff and who's leaving feedback and comments and stuff like that. When I did my positivity challenge, so many people were leaving feedback saying that they were looking forward to my emails, they were looking forward to my posts and things like that. So that just lets me know that what I was doing was actually working, and that they were getting the proof that they needed, and they trust what I was saying. So we definitely need to make sure that we're providing stuff and we're keeping track of who our customers are, so we can get feedback. I even like to send a text message or send a DM later on, like, hey, how do you like the tracker? Stuff like that, to keep engaging and let them know, like, I remember you, so then they'll feel special. You definitely want them to feel special, and you want them to show other people and tell other people about the things that you provide. So make sure that you're doing that as well. Okay, so now that we figured out who your audience is, what they like, what they want to spend money on, what they have issues with, what solutions you provide, and what proof you provide, let's put all of this together. You're going to put all of this together and create your audience profile. So this is something that, like I said in the beginning, of who these people are and what these people pretty much want, so you're providing things that they will be able to utilize. So with that being said, like I said in the beginning, my average audience is a female in her 25 to 40s age group. Entrepreneurs, even still working regular jobs. They would like to spend from $5 up to $120. They're located on the East Coast, so I make sure that everything I provide, I make sure that I'm posting it around the time that they can still engage. And their issues that they have pretty much with social media, learning how to brand and keeping track of that. So I make sure that I provide things that will help these people who are my audience get further. So build your audience profile. Use that worksheet that I sent you. Build your audience profile so you can figure out who you're providing services to, what services you're providing, and how your services will help. that is the end of this how to find your targeted audience tutorial, training, e-course, class, whatever you want to call it. I just pretty much wanted to give insight of how to find out who you're targeting, who you're providing services to, so you're not providing unnecessary services that to people that won't use them, or services that your audience is like, what's this for? I'm never going to use this. You don't want to do that. You always want to provide stuff that your audience can use. So I hope that this helped you figure out who your audience is, and I hope that this helps you give insight of who you want as your audience and what type of services you do want to provide for them. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Any suggestions, I'm always down for suggestions. And if you just need help figuring out who your audience is, please don't hesitate to send me an email. I'm always here and I don't mind helping people. Thank you for tuning in.